If you are anything like me and you like to be prepared for the new year, whether that looks like journaling your goals or maybe making a mood board or maybe both, whatever that looks like for you, you're gonna want to stick around because I'm going to be showing you guys how I prep and plan for the new year. Starting with a list of things that I'm going to be bringing with me into 2025 and what I'm going to be leaving behind in 2024. So go ahead and grab a little drink, maybe a pen and notebook, and sit down, get ready, because we're gonna get right into it. Starting with timeless, cozy, chic outfits and aesthetic over trends. I've come to realize that I am definitely not a trendy girl. I love me some minimal, timeless, modest outfits. I love a good neutral color palette. I'm really not one to stray far away from that, and instead of trying so hard to be in and have trendy things and buy things that won't necessarily stick around and kind of playing into overconsumption, I've kind of just started to embrace my natural style, specifically this past year, but I really want to stick to it and own what I wear and who I want to be going into 2025. I've noticed in recent years that I was trying super hard to kind of play into the trends and clothing items that were in that moment, in that time, and I always was wondering why my confidence was so low and my self-esteem was so low, and it was because I was wearing things that I didn't necessarily love on me or that suited who I was. So in this past year, I've really taken the time, and you can probably see that over the course of this channel, that I've really come to realize who I am through my style and really trying to stick with that and stick to things that I feel confident in and that look good on me and the things that I actually like to wear and not get distracted by all the trends that are going around. For 2025, I want to keep to a more balanced wellness lifestyle over a restrictive one. I've come to realize that balance is everything, and if you try to do too much or too little of something, you'll always end up crashing and burning in the end. And I really want to make sure that I focus on setting myself up for success, but also not only when it comes to food, but when it comes to actually working out and being active. I felt as though I had to be in the gym 5 days a week, work out every day, cardio, like getting out and doing all the things, but sometimes that just isn't feasible. Activeness and movement can look like anything, whether that's just going for a nice walk in the park, something that is still movement, but yet is a lot less high intensity. Sometimes there's mental days where I just can't get myself to the gym, and instead of making myself feel bad about it, saying, oh, I didn't go to the gym, I can't go to the gym, just driving the 5-10 minutes away it takes to get to the park and putting my headphones on and going for a 30-minute to an hour-long walk will always make me feel better and is a lot less intense than trying to get myself to go to the gym and do a full-on workout. Continuing on that same topic, I definitely want to continue prioritizing working on myself and spending the time alone to do that over trying to force myself kind of to hang out with people that don't serve me. I'm really in my productive self-improvement era, and I feel as though this past year I've really started to prioritize that, especially towards the end of the year. So I definitely want to continue that into 2025, but more specifically, I don't want to just give away my time to people and things that don't do anything for me or don't serve me or aren't contributing to my inner peace, basically. And I purposely want to focus on that because I'm really trying to kind of level up my life and do more things and create more content and really focus on building my life up, access to doing things that are setting myself up for the rest of my life instead of playing it day by day. I really want to focus my time and energy on leveling my own career and my own life and everything, whether that means I have to spend a lot of that time alone. I've just come to realize that I'm okay with that. Kind of continuing within the same topic of things that don't serve me, one of the things I want to prioritize in 2025 is more meaningful, wholesome moments over trying to force myself to do the things that are what you're supposed to be doing at this age between like 21 to 24, which is going out, clubbing, drinking, doing all those things. I felt as though because there was such a pressure to go out and live and do those things at this age that I felt as though I had to do that. But I've come to realize this past year that I don't like doing that at all. Like, that's not who I want to be. That's not the type of person I want to be, and I don't want to force myself to feel like I have to enjoy those things because I'm young and I should be doing all the things and going out and living life now. I just don't see that as something that's worth my time. I don't like the idea that if I go out on a Friday night, I have to take the whole rest of Saturday and Sunday to recover, or I use it as an excuse to not do anything Saturday and Sunday because I was out super late on a Friday night. That's just not my lifestyle. That's not the lifestyle I like. I really don't enjoy it. So instead of peer pressuring myself to do that, I've just come to embrace it. Like, that's just not who I am. That's not what I enjoy doing. I would rather take that weekend to just like meaningful moments at home, whether it's, I know I sound crazy, but taking my cat to the park and like going on walks and being able to take that time to kind of just sit in my own thoughts and chill. And also, I don't want to be set back in life. I want to take this time now while I'm young to set myself up for success when I'm older, and really take the time now to self-develop, self-improve, and work on things so that I can be the best version of myself and then continue to grow in other aspects as the years come on. I don't know, it's just not my vibe. If I were to go out and do that, I would much rather just go to a nice restaurant and get a cute little cocktail with my boyfriend or with my mom or one of my closer friends. Like, something that's a little bit more mundane where I can still enjoy myself, I can still go out, I can still have social time, but I don't have to overdo it. You know, staying within that balanced lifestyle. One of the things I actually want to focus on in 2025 is creating a list of energy givers and energy takers. Things that I can write down and see on a physical list in front of me of things that make me happy, give me energy, kind of recharge my mental state, and things that maybe don't, that I'm not necessarily realizing, but in the one moment, I'm like, this really isn't it. I'm gonna write this down, like, this is taking away from me, so that way, you know, I kind of can see and look back and be like, okay, these are the things that aren't good for me. So maybe let's replace it with something else. And look then at my energy givers. So maybe if I'm down or I'm low one day and I just need a little extra boost of energy and happiness, I can look at this list of energy givers and say, hey, let's go for a walk. Let's free our mental space. Let's journal a little bit maybe, or let's just chill and watch one of our comfort YouTubers. Something along those lines where I can have those lists in front of me and say, hey, like, this is a visual thing now. Like, I don't have to be confused on what I like to do and what I don't like to do. I can kind of see it because I am such a visual person. I do feel as though I need those little extra things. I need the things in front of me to say, hey, this is not what you like to do. Don't fall into the trap again. Let's go into our energy givers. Let's look and see what we can do to kind of boost the mood. Let's turn it around. I feel as though sometimes I can fall into maybe a slump or something without even realizing that I'm in this slump until it's 2-3 days later. I haven't left my house. I have not gone and done anything active. I've kind of just been slouching around like a little hermit, especially in this season at this time. It's so easy to fall into that. So having something right there on your phone where you can kind of look at and refer back to is great. Another newer thing that I have come to realize that's kind of been more at the foreground of my thoughts is believing in myself over listening to others. I felt as though as I was getting older, especially in my early 20s, I relied a lot on other people's opinions on what I should do, what I should wear, what I should look like, all of those things, because I didn't trust myself to make those decisions on my own. Going into 2025, something I'm going to start prioritizing is, instead of asking other people for their opinions to validate that what I'm doing is right or validate that it's wrong, whatever it is, trusting in myself to make that decision. Because I was relying on so many other people's opinions, I wasn't actually making the decision on my own. I would take their advice too literally. Instead of going to people for advice, listening to what they have to say, and then deciding, okay, I can accept this advice, but let me think about it for a little bit and then come to the decision on my own. And it really was just a lack of self-trust. So that is definitely something that I am working on. I want to continue working on into the new year. I feel like you can kind of see my train of thought as I talk about these ins and outs that I'm going for 2025, because the next one is positive reinforcement over negative self-talk. This all plays into the same idea. I felt as though because I had such negative self-talk to myself, I wasn't able to trust my own thoughts. I wasn't able to trust my own decisions because I was so negative in reactions to the things that I was doing. So instead, we are only going to be taking positive reinforcement. We're only going to be grateful for the things that we have and what we're doing right now in the stage of life that we're in right now. And instead of being negative and talking down on ourselves, which really isn't helping at all in the slightest, we're gonna just have positive reinforcement. Say, hey, like, girl, don't worry, mistakes are there for a reason. Let's look back and learn on it. Let's reflect. And instead of getting mad at ourselves or being like, why would you do that? That was so stupid, or that was not a good idea, like we shouldn't have done that, being like, hey, okay, we made a mistake. Let's reflect. Let's look back, like what happened and how can we learn from this so that we know better the next time. And I feel as though that's so important, especially as your frontal lobes has fully developed now at the ripe age of 23. I feel as though I need to kind of be able to rely on myself to say, hey, like, it's okay, like, let's move on, like, let's reflect and learn from it, but then let's move on because it's really not that big a deal. Like, chill, like, it's okay, like, we're gonna figure it out. We're all figuring it out right now at this stage in life. No one expects you to have it all together right now. So let's just chill. And continuing on, we have keeping to ourselves over complaining. Sometimes I am a ranter, and when it comes to things that bother me or I let get to me, I will go off and complain or talk about it or rant about it. And if anything, is just prolonging how I feel about it, which is not good. It's obviously bothering me, and I don't want to let outer things affect me on the inside the way that they are or were. So I want to definitely prioritize working things out on my own, in my own head, something that's bothering me. Say, for example, someone did you wrong, or someone said something that didn't necessarily sit with you right, and you didn't say anything in the moment because it obviously caught you off guard. And so what I used to do would be, I would go run to my mom or my boyfriend or whoever, and I would say, oh my god, this person said this, or this happened and I can't believe it, and I didn't say anything, and I wish I had said this, and I'm so mad about it, and it's gonna keep me up at night because I can't stop thinking about it. And it's like, why are you letting someone or something affect your inner peace like this? Like, so instead of outwardly going on and complaining about it or talking about it or ranting about it, instead kind of keeping it to myself and working out, okay, why is this bothering me so much? Why is this something that I can't stop thinking about? Why is something that is so minuscule bothering you so much when it really shouldn't be? So within that, I am also learning and researching about the law of detachment and understanding that letting other people or outside external forces affect you internally so much is because I get too attached to things, and it really isn't good, because then it derails your focus on the things that are more important. It's a lot easier and better to let those things roll off your back and say, hey, this isn't gonna affect who I am, because I know who I am and I'm confident in myself and who I am and where I'm going, that I'm not gonna let these external forces and energy that are bad affect me. Stay on track and say, hey, whatever, who cares? It's done and over with. We're moving on. We're not letting that affect our day. It can be as simple as that. We're staying confident in ourselves. We're trusting ourselves to say, hey, all that can stay out there. You're not getting past the systems that we have in place here that are setting ourselves up for success. We're not gonna let those things get to us. If you are also anything like me and you are much more of a homebody, kind of like to be a little bit more introverted, then you know that this winter season, and when it gets cold out and cozy out and you just want to stay at home in a little hermit, but you end up actually just staying home for days on end and not doing anything, and you kind of forget about outside world, then you get me. Over the course of, because I've taken the time to kind of separate myself from a lot of outside things and to really focus on myself, that I find myself at home a lot. And as much as I'm like, I don't feel the need to go out and do this and do that, I do want to take the time to actually go on solo dates and take myself to go do things that are fun, that I find enjoyable. Instead of staying inside, I want to try new things by myself. Don't need someone to go with me to go try this new cafe or this new museum that opened up or this pop-up or whatever it is, I can do those things myself. And instead of feeling the need like I have to have someone there with me, just saying, hey, like I can go do this myself, like have free will to go do things outside that I find enjoying, because I felt as though I was doing things that I wasn't enjoying when I was going out. So therefore, when I don't have to go out, I would much rather stay inside. But if I find the things that I enjoy doing that are outside, it'll make it a lot easier to kind of fit that in and say, hey, I like doing these things, like let's go do this today. Like I haven't gone on a solo date in a long time, but basically making it more of a point to set up those solo dates, because not only is it so fun, but it's so good for your mental health. It's so good to like be able to sit with yourself and spend that time alone and enjoy time by yourself. I feel like it really is good for the mental, and I definitely want to make it more of a point to maybe do like at least a monthly solo date, like take myself out somewhere new, fun, exciting that I would enjoy. For our 10th and final topic, kind of going full circle, dressing for myself over social media. Being a content creator and someone who consumes a lot of content as well, it's very hard to differentiate between what I actually like and enjoy compared to what I'm just seeing online. And it's especially hard because I am online so much. So I really am trying to focus on dressing for myself over dressing what will perform well or look good in a picture. Instead, just sticking to what I like and what I know and letting that shine through instead of trying so hard to fit in with all the influencer girlies that I'm seeing, because in the end it makes me feel worse. I'm like, oh, I don't look as good as her, or I'm not as aesthetic as her, oh, my editing's not as good, or my thumbnails aren't as good, or my outfits aren't as good because I don't look like them. I'm not the same as them. But it becomes a lot of self-doubt and low self-esteem because I want to try so hard to fit in, but then it ends up not looking as good as it would have if I had just stuck to what I know. And therefore, if I had just dressed for myself, it probably would have performed better anyway, because confidence really speaks volumes. Don't want to dress for social media. I want to dress for myself and allow social media to kind of accept that. I want people to actually follow me and stick around with me because they enjoy me and they enjoy the content that I put out, because it's me and it's not because I'm trying so hard to be other people that I'm also seeing on social media, because it's really easy to get stuck in that. But those are all of the things that I have written down for you guys. I hope you enjoyed and maybe also got some ideas of things that you want to kind of leave behind in 2024 and bring it to 2025. Maybe help you realize some things about yourself as well, which is always good. I definitely am on my self-improvement and self-empowerment journey. So if you are too, I would love to have a community of women who love self-improvement and kind of just self-empowerment, woman empowerment. Definitely stick around, follow me on Instagram, everything will be linked down below. But you're gonna want to stick around for the rest of Vlogmas, because not only do I have vlogs coming out, but I have tons of New Year prep and plan content coming that you're not gonna want to miss. I appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end. I love you all so, so much, and I am so excited for the rest of Vlogmas. But I will see you guys next Friday for a new vlog. Bye!